Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nishant. I'm the community manager at India IT 360, and it is my pleasure to welcome everyone on today's session Network as a Service, the future of enterprise connectivity. Today, in this session, we'll explore how enterprises are redesigning infrastructure to meet the shift. I'm honored to welcome our speaker, Mr. Mitesh Bharwada. He is VP of Product Management at Lightstorm, a seasoned leader with over 2 decades of experience in product management, strategy, and business planning. I'm also pleased to welcome Mr. Joginder Yadav. He is a senior manager, solution sales at Lightstorm, with over 16 years of experience in pre-sales, business development, and data center solutions. We are glad to have you both, sir.
Thank you, Nishant. All right. So the topic for today is network as a service, the future of connectivity, and it's a very interesting topic. It's the way networks have evolved over the past few years, and how telecom service providers are embracing network as a service to meet the demands of modern connectivity requirements of enterprises. Uh, so, what we are going to discuss today is firstly, where do we find there is a need for network as a service or NaaS, right? Uh, why do we believe that the legacy way of connecting no longer holds good? And why do you need to start consuming network as a service, network services on as a service model, right? Which is just the way you consume SaaS or IaaS or cloud for that matter. And then what we'll do is we'll showcase the benefits of NaaS, how they play out in real life scenarios, what you can expect from a true NaaS offering, and then Joginder, my colleague here, will take you through a live demo of Lightstorm's NaaS platform, which is Polarin, wherein you can see for yourself how it works. We'll end it up with a round of Q&A. In case you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those. So that's the plan, uh, everyone, for the next 45, 50 odd minutes. So, so let's start with sorry a hypothesis that we laid for ourselves, um, and that hypothesis basically is that enterprise is being taken over by the cloud. Um, so the cloud, first came into existence in 2006 with AWS and then Google, and then everyone started following. When you look at the three major cloud players, AWS, Google, and Azure, I have this data is a little old, but it's still very relevant. You see that they were spending 15% of whatever they were earning purely on R&D. So clearly, they were looking at innovation, customer experience, and trying to through that experience, trying to solve problems that enterprises had, and even evolving networks to that extent. Okay. On the other side, when we look at typical telecom players, who have been the giants, who've always been there, entrenched into the enterprise connectivity space, uh, have actually been quite stagnant. Once MPLS came out and then wireless came in, it is just small bits of upgrades on the MPLS and wireless technology that is happening. That reflects in a small percentage of R&D that telecom companies have had been spending, right? And while cloud kept growing, the legacy telecom mindset continued to stay where it was. MPLS, connecting branches, hub and spoke connectivity, consumer business, etc. And in this whole thought process and lack of technology, the enterprise network and the emerging requirements of enterprise network with cloud coming in maybe was got forgotten to that extent. And interestingly, it reflects in the results as well. So one moment, let me just put my pointer on. So for instance, while this is the market cap, the telco cap has been going down. For the technology players, we basically looked at these seven companies, which are quite representative. And look at the revenues. I mean, they've been flat. 2025, this number actually had dipped to about 1.45, which was where it started off in 2019, whereas this number has gone to about 2.4, 2.4, 2.5 as we speak by 2025. So it reflects in the revenue. When you don't innovate, you're not upgrading with the times. And while doing that, who suffers the most? Okay, it's actually the enterprise who ends up suffering the most, because here you have an enterprise customer who is, people like you who are on the call today. Your data no longer stayed at the branch, right? Or at the hub location that you had. Your data first started moving towards data center, uh, which was a captive data center. Then it started moving towards co-location. Then hyperscalers, and today it is also on private cloud edge locations, wherever you say there is data, right? But network has did not did not evolve at that same pace, so you continue to have this low bandwidth network even to service this kind of requirement. So this is the market gap that started emerging due to less innovation that was happening, at the telco end, wherein the need here was clearly for a different kind of a network which is very high capacity, low latency, extremely highly reliable. I mean, 99.5% uptime can work for branch locations, but you cannot have a 4 hours downtime on this network, right? 4 hours is 99.5 versus 99.99. So you can't have that kind of thing. So we saw that, there is now, an, in fact, I wouldn't say now, at least 5 years back, there was a need for a reliable and scalable network that could act as a backbone for the cloud connectivity. There was a need for enterprises to connect to all these key hub locations that they have, right, with each other on a very high capacity network. And this network had to be extremely flexible, because requirements can keep changing. Today, you run an application on Google Cloud. Tomorrow, you may want to move that application to, let's say, AWS Cloud, or you want to introduce a new application that interfaces AWS with Google, or something changes at your data center. You want to introduce something which was on premise, move it to the data center. So this network cannot be static. It has to keep evolving, and it has to be so flexible that all the complicated requirements that digital transformation brings in our lives, right? Uh, the network should be an enabler and not a bottleneck to enable digital transformation. So that brings us to what it takes to create a network fabric built exclusively for the enterprise and cloud. We are not talking about networks to connect branches over here. We are talking about this particular network, which is the high capacity network. And that's the basically the future of networking, the present of networking also, I would say. So no longer inflexible networks without any scalability, and B2C focused infrastructure that is primarily a mobility focused or a broadband focused infrastructure, also resulting in very high operational cost for the enterprise. So what we believe is that these legacy networks, they are very good. I'm not debating that, but they are not built to change. Okay, and change is what enterprises today need when it comes to cloud connectivity, AI, etc. So, how does network fabric change the things? Right? It is designed to connect cloud and enterprise. Wherever you need connectivity, you should be able to get it on demand. Once you connect, you should be able to scale up that connectivity in terms of bandwidth whenever you want. It should be extremely fungible. Security has to be there, and payment terms, etc. You cannot have rigid contracts because bandwidth requirements are no longer rigid, right? What do rigid contracts do, for example? Let's say I need a steady state bandwidth of 5 Gbps between my two data centers. But I know that there comes a few times, in a year where my bandwidth may go up to 8 or 9 Gbps. And what am I forced to do? I am forced to take a contract for a year with capacity of 9 or 10 Gbps. So basically, peak capacity is the bandwidth you subscribe to. That has always been the mantra that everyone's been following, right? I'm also a telco guy. I've also been following that mantra. I'm sure you are also following that mantra. But then, if 90% of your time you require 5 gig, why do you need to buy and provision for, let's say, 10 gig? Right? Can you not take that additional 5 gig whenever you need and pay by the hour? That's flexible contracting, pay as you go pricing. And on top of it all, you need software defined networking. So, zero touch provisioning, making connectivity up in an instant without any human error, without any human intervention. So that's the network fabric that we are talking about. Now let's come to NaaS, network as a service, and it's very interesting, and you'll realize from this diagram, this is the famous story of blind men and the elephant. Now here you don't see blind men; they are all corporate guys sitting across a table. But just like they describe the elephant in different ways, NaaS also has multiple connotations for multiple people. So few think of NaaS as a managed service. So network as a service, you have hardware, you have software, you have connectivity, you have routers, etc., etc. Everything is managed for you, and you pay on an OPEX model. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is it's a self-service platform. Everything is available there. You pick and choose what you want and build it the way you want. Or it is something which is a hybrid, which is bit of everything, right? It also has managed service, it also has self-serve, but it's all curated. Or in another form, you build your own software-defined network for a very large enterprise and treat it like a NAS. So there are multiple ways to do it, or multiple definitions of NAS that we find in the market today. But the version of NAS that I am talking about, it is built on three pillars. Pillar number one is software-defined networking. So why is software-defined networking important? If you want to run everything on self-serve, you want to enable zero-touch provisioning, you want to enable instant connectivity, instant bandwidth increase, pay-as-you-go pricing, then it cannot happen when you have networks that need to be manually switched and need to be manually configured. They have to be software defined. So that is the first and foremost building block uh, for NAS. Second is API integration. Gone are the days when you can be isolated from rest of the world and try and create a automated networking roadmap. You have to have API integrations. API integrations with the cloud are needed because what happens is as a telco we build NNIs with the cloud providers, but then if there are no API integrations, how do we ensure that a connectivity that is being built to the cloud is being built for that specific enterprise customer who needs that connectivity? So API integrations with cloud, API integrations with data centers, API integrations with similar telecom players wherein we can leverage each other's network. That's the second pillar of NaaS. So these are the two key pillars on which NaaS is built. And the third one is the underlying network, which is obviously the most important, right? You may have all the softwares, you may have all the APIs, but if your underlying infrastructure or network is not good enough, then it doesn't solve any purpose. And when I say network being good enough, I again go back to the diagram where I had shown the emerging market gap, where we saw two types of networks. One was branch network, and another was the high capacity network, right? A branch network is okay. You can live with 99.5% uptime, for instance. But the high connectivity network needs a very high uptime. It needs very low latency. It needs extremely high reliability, very low jitter, least number of flaps, multiple things. I can go on and on. So it cannot be a same network architecture. It cannot be the same network design that is that you deploy for branch networks cannot be used for the high capacity network. So these are the three key founding pillars to solve the problem that we spoke about. And that's the version of NaaS that I am talking about. So that's where I want to introduce Lightstorm's NaaS offering, which we call Polarin. Polarin is basically a self-service portal which delivers network as a service solutions through which our users can not only design, but they can also create their own network to connect data centers, to connect clouds, create multi-cloud networks, hybrid cloud networks very easily. It is literally self-serve and very intuitive to use, which in some time my colleague Joginder will take us through that. Let's just do a bit of a deep dive around Polarin, and I've talked a lot about what are the issues that are faced by network provider, by enterprises from their networks, what are the requirements and all. I'm talking about Polarin, but then I'm sure you want to know how Polarin can solve those problems. So let's see this. What happens let's say we want to deploy a simple connectivity between clouds or between data centers. In a traditional manner, first we would have to select the cloud provider, we would have to design a construct of how we want to connect it, which we can do instantly, right? We have that in our minds. But then we have to select the right kind of network provider. Then provisioning of the cloud connectivity, we have to contract that provider. Sorry, it comes this way. We have to contract that provider for pricing. Then we have to provision the cloud connectivity by the provider. Again, do a contracting. Then you lay down the network, attach it to the VPC, turn up end-to-end cloud connectivity and service. And ultimately, what's happened is that we probably spent 7, 8 weeks in doing this entire process. Okay, think of this as a DC to cloud connectivity. What happens as far as Polarin is concerned is your first step would be to sign up on Polarin, where you basically enter your credentials, upload some documents, etc., do a KYC in short. You just select the cloud provider and which are the cloud regions where you want to connect them. What is the bandwidth that you want to connect? And we just you have to enter some account related information that you have with the cloud. We interact with the cloud through an API, and that cloud connectivity towards your VPC is up and running. It just takes a few minutes. Within 10 minutes, we can turn it up. And I'm just talking about the first part, which is zero touch provisioning. There is much more to it beyond provisioning. So how does this happen? This happens because I'm again going back to that point around network fabric, right? What exactly is network fabric? So Polarin, while it is the self-serve portal, it relies on a network fabric, and a network fabric is basically a highly interconnected mesh network which is connecting multiple cloud service providers, internet exchanges, and data centers. Right. So think of it as the reason we call it fabric is like, just like we have a cloth fabric where there are multiples of threads intertwining with each other. This is like that, it's a network fabric. And the beauty is that let's say you have one data center, you just build one cross connect between that data center and Polarin, and then you can connect anywhere you want on this network fabric instantly. So you want to connect to a cloud, you want to connect to a internet exchange that we've peered with, you want to connect with Cloudflare CDN, that also we have peering, or you can want to connect with another data center. You can do it in a jiffy. So like I mentioned, once we have everything ready in terms of port, uh, cross connect, etc., the virtual connection can be up in a minute's time. So it's highly agile, it's very scalable. Uh, so you can very easily turn up bandwidth the way you to the extent you want, and pay by the hour, as I mentioned earlier, for that incremental bandwidth. The visibility is excellent. When I say visibility, I mean the network monitoring, network performance reports, etc. On Polarin, we give reports to enterprises that no other service provider gives, and I will talk about it in a while. Okay, now this is looks little complicated. Yeah, maybe complicated at the way we architect it, but as far as the consumption is concerned, it's highly simplified. I'll just explain how we provide services and how we provision services, right? So let me try and demystify this. So everything, when you look at NaaS, uh, everything is all the elements of connectivity, be it port, be it a virtual connection, they are all modular in nature. So what happens is, let's say you have this data center, right? So you buy a port at this data center. Then from this port, you can spin up connectivity towards another data center or to a cloud or even to internet, right? So what happens when it comes to billing is that we treat it like you've bought two products from us. One, you've bought a port, and one, you've bought a virtual connection. So it's modular. Gone are the days where everything was bundled, where you say, okay, let's say you want to buy 5 gig of bandwidth. The service provider will give you a 10 gig port and 5 gig of virtual connectivity, right? That's how they give 5 gig of bandwidth. What we do at Lightstorm, when you buy 5 gig of bandwidth, We don't bundle it together. We will bill you for 10 gig port and we will bill you for 5 gig bandwidth because they are two very distinct products for Polarin. How does this help you? You have a 10 gig port, but you are using 5 gig of bandwidth. So what happens to the balance 5 gig that is available at this port? That is available for you to spin up another virtual connection if you want to some other data center or to some other cloud, wherever you want, for up to 5 gig. So how it has helped you? It has helped you by saving cost and not investing in another port when you already had capacity on one port. Second, you don't have to over provision. As I have mentioned earlier, you can get bandwidth on demand. Similarly, so this is from the port side. Similarly, we also have services which are on the network edge, where you can take SD-WAN as a service, firewall as a service. Uh, this offering is most useful when you want to connect your branch networks or work from home users to the cloud. Because all that traffic that was, let's say, maybe directly going via internet to the cloud, you can now route it on this virtual edge, and from here you can turn up private connectivity to the cloud. I know, a lot of you may be using internet to reach to the cloud, and the data egress fees that cloud service providers charge when data moves out through internet is quite high. You end up saving 60% of cloud egress cost if you were to connect this to a private connection. So that's the use case here. So broadly, these are the services we offer: data center interconnect, cloud to data center connectivity, cloud to cloud connectivity, direct internet access, and virtual network edge. Okay, that's the entire service ecosystem of Polarin. So, you not only are able to turn up whatever type of connectivity you want, you're looking for redundant solutions between data center and DR, or you are looking to build a hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, uh, or you want to do away from internet, get into a private network, or you have short-term requirements, you just want to do some data migration and then get it done with, those kind of things. Polarin is best placed to serve you there. Okay, I'll just spend some time on this because it's one innovation that we are very proud of. Lightstorm today is the only company globally that can turn up an optical connection. I'm talking layer one connectivity of 10G and 100G in less than 15 minutes. So you heard it right. I'll repeat again. In less than 15 minutes, we can connect a 10G or a 100G wave connectivity. And nobody else across the globe has this capability. Uh, Apart from all the elements of software defined networking and API based orchestration, here the unique thing that we do is we have uh, created a functionality that we call robotic arms, which dynamically does the cable patching between the fiber ports. So the processing speed is very quick. It is automated instead of having any manual dependency, and obviously because of that, the accuracy also is very high. So this is a great capability to have. Uh, I I spoke about visibility, right? And I told you I'll spend some time on that. So the visibility platform on Polarin, the visibility feature on Polarin is called Vista, which helps you to see your network like you've never seen it before. Uh, so what do we typically get, when we take connectivity today? We get MRTG graphs, how much bandwidth in, how much out. We get uptime, uh, 99.5, 99. How is it doing against SLAs? What else do we get? Maybe packet loss, latency. I'm not sure. Maybe one or two service providers would be giving it. But does anyone give flaps? Does anyone transparently show that what are the flaps that are there on your network today? It is such an invisible thing, flaps, but it creates havoc when the network has flaps. And when I say flaps, I mean downtimes that are greater than 50 milliseconds and less than 1 second. So that's a very tiny bit which creates havoc in the network. And nobody takes accountability for flaps. At Lightstorm, we do. We give SLAs on flaps also because we are very confident that ours is a zero flap network or a minimal flap network. We also transparently show latency and port performance metrics. Okay, it's all available real time. You want to look at it for 7 days, you want to look at it for 30 days. It's all toggle and you can see the performance. We show error reports and anomalies which can help you in smart troubleshooting. And if you use your own tools, let's say you are having multiple services from multiples of service providers, and you want to use an independent tool to monitor everything and so that you get a consistent reporting, we can also expose our APIs for the Vista platform so that they integrate seamlessly with whatever tool you are using. So that's the Vista functionality. These are some industry recognitions that we've got, and as you can see, these are all very reputed awards. This award for the most innovative product we got for the 10G Wave service, which was the robotic arms innovation that we did. And other awards are primarily on the NaaS portal Polarin, where we got Network Transformation Provider Catalyst Award. This is for our infrastructure that we got this award, which provides 4 nines of uptime as SLA, 99.99% SLA. So these are some of the industry recognitions. So while this all looks very good, what's the proof? So for that, I will hand it over to my colleague Joginder. Joginder is a pre-sales expert in Lightstorm, and he's going to spend about 5 minutes taking you through the platform and trying to show you how a circuit can be created in real time.
Good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Joginder Yadav, and today I will be taking you through the platform. I'll showcase the demonstration of how you establish the connectivity across different data centers and to the clouds in just a matter of few clicks and few minutes. So during the session, I will be covering um, uh, some of the operational visibility that we provide to all the enterprises, along with how we provision the services across different DCs, across different use cases. I will take you through some of the use cases as well, and some of the key products that are required in terms of provisioning any new service for the enterprises. As you can see on the screen, this is the Polarin platform which Mitesh earlier was talking about. That's Lightstorm.net, and it is very easy to sign up on this platform. All you need to do is verify your email address, and once you do that, you should be able to log in into the platform. I'm just logging into the platform, and we'll see how you will have the first dashboard overview of this platform. So this is how your dashboard looks like. Now, as I said, I will be covering all the parameters, all the services that we offer on this particular platform, starting with the first section, which is our services section. Under this section, if you see, I hope you guys are able to see the screen. Under this section, if you see on this screen, you will get an operational view of all the services that have been configured by the enterprise for themselves. And it shows the graphical representation of all your data centers, cloud, or data recovery for that matter, and how you have interconnected them using maybe point-to-point or multi-point connectivity. We will be covering more in detail about this section when we configure the services. Now, the next section is activity log section in the left of the screen, if you can see. If I click on that, you would be able to see everything that we do in the account using this particular portal. Everything gets captured, whether it is about logging, capturing the login details of the user, whether it is about the services that we have configured or any changes that are made in the services, along with the date and the time span and the person who has initiated that, so that it helps organization to have an audit for the audit purpose and for the uh, visibility purpose of all the traceability that you want to track in terms of the activities so far organization has performed. So that track is there under the activity log section. Then we have the next section is organization, under which we have two different section. First being the profile. So under the profile section, we have details of the enterprise which are required as part of the onboarding process. So one is that you sign up on the portal, wherein you can see the feasibility of the data centers where we are present or the services that we offer. But if a customer intends to take the services, then that's something where they have to onboard themselves, which typically involves uploading some of the documents like your certificate of incorporation, your GST certificate, your letter of authorization, and some of other regulatory documents that you need to upload. The same gets validated from our automated tool system, which is integrated with this platform. Then under organization, we have user management also. In the user management, if you want to go ahead and provide extend this access to your team, maybe you want to extend one access to one of your finance guy, maybe enterprise want to extend the access to maybe network team also, or to audit team. So there are certain predefined role based access which are there in the system. You can customize them also, and accordingly you can extend the access of this platform to your respective teams. That's easy. Then we have the next we have is the billing, under which we have billing profile. This is more of used to enterprises who have different business units or different subsidiaries having different GST number in different states across India or outside India as well. So you need to upload the respective GST certificates of each state and of each entity that from where you want to get this billing done. So this is where enterprise are supposed to provide the details as part of the onboarding process. Then we have subscription and invoices. You can see all the types of services that are available that you have taken through Polarin. You will see the contract term, the start date, the end date, what is the billing cycle, all those details enterprise would be able to see on the platform itself, and we can download the invoices under the invoice section. The last which we have, which Mitesh was talking earlier, is nobody gives you detail about the flaps, and very few are giving details about the latency as well. So this is something which we are transparently providing to all our customers. You can see, customer can see the flaps, the latency along with the timestamp. So that's about the features that we are providing on this completely DIY platform for that.
I just want to interrupt a bit and put a sort of a disclaimer here. This is not the this is basically a demo login that Joginder is using here. So
Yeah.
all the data that is fed into this is mostly used for a demo perspective.
Yeah. Thanks,
It's
Mitesh.
not a live customer that he's showing, although it's a live portal, but it's a demo credential that he's using.
Yeah, and which has limited inventory in terms of when we deploy, when we showcase any demo, then there are limited inventories which we have used as part of test activities.
So
So when we,
Joginder, can you create a DC to DC connection for us?
yeah, so when we have to create, let's say there is a customer who wants to create a connection between, let's say they have a data center in Bangalore and then they have another data center or DR for that matter in, let's say, Pune. Then under the services section, if we go ahead and create, let's just cover all the use cases also first. We will go into view all services, but all services that we offer, if you see, we offer data center interconnect. We offer some of the use cases which involves DC to DC connectivity, DC to cloud, cloud to cloud, and hybrid connectivity as well. There are key products which are port, virtual connection, and virtual router. Port is typically used to establish the physical layer of connection between customer and Lightstorm network. Then virtual connection we build to provision the specific bandwidth between the two endpoints. And then there is virtual router, which we use, which comes into picture when we want to create any L3 capability, typically in case of multi-cloud connectivity. Now we'll cover about data center connectivity on layer 2 to layer 3. When we click on this create, it is as simple. If you can see on the screen, there is a point wherein customer has, let's say, a data center in Pune. Then there is a B point. They have another data center in, let's say, Mumbai, and they want to interconnect these two. Then what we have to do is we have to create A end port, B end port, and then create a virtual connection. So let's get started on that. So if you see under here, under this section, we can use any existing port also. If customer is running any existing port, we offer multi-service port as well. But let's just create from scratch and we'll click on create new port. We can select any data center. Let's say I will select in Bengaluru next DC. Click on next. Here we will name it, let's say demo webinar. Then enterprise would be able to see the options of the port speed which are available, which as part of offering from our end. It could be 1 gig, it could be 10 gig, it could be 100 gig as well. Then customer can select 12-month subscription, 36, 24, whatever subscription that we want to start with. And then there is payment option as well. Once all these mandatory parameters are selected, customer would be able to see the list price that is available on the portal, the total ARC value of 12 months of the total contract, and then MRC value as well. If you see at the bottom, we will use this as a AN port. Once we click on that, AN port is getting generated at the back end with the router. The orchestration that we have done between the platform and the router, it is in real time getting generated, and the port is assigned on the router in that particular DC. We'll click on next. Similarly, we will create another port on B end. Let's just say we select Pune. Let's select STT data center. We'll click on next. The same exercise we are doing, which we did for Bangalore end, and we'll just find this as Pune end. We'll select 1 gig, select the mandatory parameters, and then use this as the port. Once this is done, now it will ask us for creating the virtual connection, which is actually the provisioning of bandwidth between these two. Demo, webinar, Pune, Bangalore. We can define the bandwidth up to 1 Gbps. We can define as we selected the port capacity as 1 Gbps. Let's just say we are creating it as a 300 Mbps of link that we are posing over this. Again, we can
So
select.
the bandwidth granularity is not there when it comes to Polarin. It's not that they are predefined bandwidths. For instance, Joginder could even type 270 Mbps over there instead of 300. So there are no restrictions. You need not over provision anywhere.
Yeah. And then you select the subscription term, payment done, and click on next. Once you do that, it will ask for your billing profile detail. So for the in the interest of time, I will say I will provide this later, and I'm selecting the billing cycle as monthly. I can do that quarterly, half yearly as well. But in the interest of time, I'm just saving it as I will provide the few details later on, and simply I will click on order. So once I do that, it is done. The provisioning is done. It will reflect within, I think, within 1 minute itself, and you'll see that. The only thing which is now pending is the physical patching of the cross connect between the customer device and Lightstorm device. Once that is done, link is already up and running. As soon as they interconnect the cable between the two devices, it would come as up. If you see, this is showing as awaiting deployment. Very soon you will see it will be showing you as configured.
We are a niche B2B connectivity company. Like I mentioned, we offer core connectivity across data centers, clouds, AI compute zones, and edge locations. As you will see, we don't do last mile services. We don't connect branch offices. Okay. We don't do enterprise broadband. We don't do B2C services. We are very focused and very niche. As we stand today, we are present in 6 countries. Apart from India, we have presence in other 5 other APAC countries. 50,000 plus kilometers of terrestrial and subsea fiber. We also have our own subsea fiber assets between Japan, Australia, and USA. In India, we have 70 data centers connected, all the leading ones, and globally, we have 50 plus more which are on net. And if I add partnerships, then we have over 240 data centers connected, 18 cloud on ramps, and we cater to a whole host of enterprise customers. Something about our promoters. Lightstorm is the major stakeholder in Lightstorm is a PE firm, US based PE firm called I Squared Capital. They manage more than $55 billion of assets with 100 plus companies in their portfolio. And Lightstorm is part of their digital infrastructure portfolio along with other companies like Exa, which is a European data center platform, Cloud Kinetics, BDX, again, it's an Asian data center platform, etc. So this is our presence in India, all the leading data centers, and this is where we are present globally. We are quite strong when it comes to APAC. This is our own cable system, Tokyo, Guam to Australia, and Guam to Los Angeles. And we also have very high capacities between India, Singapore, from Mumbai, Chennai, Singapore onwards to Guam. So this is a belt we play very actively in, and we also offer services on the Atlantic side towards Europe and US. Already 2,400 TBPS of capacity deployed. Um, as I said, we work very closely with hyperscalers, so capacity is not a constraint with us. Quick recap of NaaS before we move to Q&A. Move away from long lead times of weeks and months to provision a service to near real-time provisioning. Scalability extremely high. It can accommodate business growth. Bandwidth will scale with the way the business grows. Visibility is best in class, something that some metrics that no other service providers provide. Extremely flexible, save money even on contracting, apart from optimizing on services, and very easy to use. Joginder demonstrated that through the Polarin demo. So that's it from a presentation perspective. We are now open to questions. But before that, Joginder, you want to switch to your screen? Do we have any updates?
You see, this is the link which we configure demo webinar Pune Bangalore, which is
Okay, great. It's now
278
configured. Okay,
Mbps.
okay, great.
It is showing as configured.
All right, all right. Thank you, Joginder.
So, moving on to the Q&A. So, we have some excellent and interesting questions. So, the first one is Hariharan. How are AI agents going to impact traditional networking? Where would be the gaps where manual intervention would be required and can't be replaced by AI?
Uh, well, this is more towards the AI versus human effort. But since you touch upon AI, I will mention some network complexities that AI brings to the table. And that's where when you have AI workloads very heavily running on an enterprise network, your connectivity is actually, you have to ensure it moves in all directions, not only it east west, but north south as well, and that brings a lot of challenges. um, when you run inferencing workloads, right, you have to ensure that the latency is extremely low, and I'm talking tail end latency over here. So just like we said, networks of the past may not work well for cloud connectivity. Networks of cloud connectivity are not likely to work well for AI. We will need different types of networks for AI to really give good user experience, be it inferencing, be it training, be it whole host of applications from AI. Regarding manual work versus AI related work, I think if you are referring it more from a network operations perspective, AI will definitely help. It will bring in a lot of predictability, better analytics on the network, and human effort will go down. But having said that, corrective actions, most, you can't leave AI to do everything. Someone has to be validating what is happening out there. So that's my quick take on it.
Thank you, Mr. Mitesh, for the response. The next question is from Ranjan Sahu. What are the infrastructure required at edge, such as ISP, router, and firewall and switch? Whether these are part of your solution, how it is different from Cisco and Meraki?
We are not into branch connectivity actually. So we don't provide routers and those kind of customer premise equipment. Uh, we rather aggregate all the customer traffic at a data center or at our edge location, and from there we provide private connectivity to data centers or clouds. I'm answering it quickly because I see that we've crossed our time. Yeah, Nishant.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is from Bharat Pawar. How is it different from MPLS as a service?
Um, Okay, so MPLS runs on BGP protocol. Here also, we run on BGP. We can even replicate MPLS if we create a virtual router kind of an instance here. But then MPLS is about a network that connects branch offices, locations, data center locations, etc., all on a single network. Here we are saying we need disparate network for branch versus core. So on core network, we do point to point, whereas branch, you can use MPLS, you can use internet, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So while the underlying technology may be the same, the way it is used is very different.
Okay, sir. So there is a follow-up question from Ranjan Sahu. Whether AI integration is there?
Whether AI integration is there. So see, AI integration we are currently doing in the way uh, we run our NOC operations. We use AI for some predictive analytics that we get. for our fiber management stuff that we do, and also for bandwidth capacity planning. So that's where we are using AI. And then there are certain infrastructure projects uh, where we are using it. I cannot reveal much right now because it's still in the works. Yeah,
Okay.
next one.
Yeah. So there's another question from Gaurav Mishra. How does Lightstorm ensure low latency, high availability, and seamless multi-cloud connectivity for enterprise customers?
Gaurav, great question, but I did a 1 hour webinar on this couple of weeks back, so it's a very long answer. But to cut it short, our infrastructure is deployed in a very unique manner compared to how other service providers do it. Uh, we don't do ring architectures. We do leaf and spine deployments. That is traditional. That is point-to-point connectivity on our network, and 90% of our long haul network is on utility grade fiber, which is aerial fiber but going across high tension cables. So that gives very low latency and extremely high uptime. Minimum three paths are ensured between two data centers, so that gives 99.99% uptime. Yeah, that was a very quick summary of a 1 hour session. Yeah, Nishant.
That's right. So, okay, so before going on to the spin the wheel section, I would really like to thank all the attendees for the wonderful questions. So that would be the end of the Q&A segment. And as we said, okay, so there's just one another question that we are going to take it up. So Mr. Shishant has to say, is that solution do the centralized inspection, also how the internet traffic route more secure way?
Okay, so what we do, it's a good question, I must say, because internet is increasingly used to connect to the cloud. What we do here is that the traffic that is coming through the internet, we create on our edge, we create a virtual network function of a firewall. So let's say we do Cisco firewall, for example, then we'll create a Cisco firewall as a service instance for you on our Polarin edge, and all the traffic that is coming via internet, uh, we route it through an IPsec tunnel, interfacing it on that firewall as a service function that we've done. So you can say it's that security part is centralized, it's taken care in that fashion, and that clean traffic is what then moves over a private network to the cloud. That's how we take care of it. But we don't offer ZTNA kind of solutions, if that's what you meant. That is not part of our offering right now.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for all the wonderful answers. So, as we said, now the winner of the best question award goes to Mr. Gaurav Mishra. He is the CTO of Blue Spring. Congratulations, sir. Our team will be reaching you shortly. So, it's now time for a spin the wheel segment. Let us spin and see who got lucky today.
I think we have the winner, Mr. Ranjan Kumar Sahu. Congratulations, sir. We'll spin for the second time, and here we go.
Congratulations, Ranjan. Congratulations, Gaurav, also.
We'll do it again. Okay, so let me just do it again. A good day for sir.
Then should go and buy a lottery today.
Mr. Sidhu, congratulations. And
Congratulations.
yeah, so
Everyone.
I'm in the same congratulations.
Congrats.
Okay, so let me just stop sharing. Over to you, Nishant.
Thank you, everyone, for making time. I hope it opened some more thought processes in your minds, and I hope we it was time well spent for all of you. I really enjoyed enjoyed the session and interacting with everyone. There were some super questions that also came our way. So thanks a ton for that.
So, as we conclude today's session on network as a service, the future of enterprise connectivity, a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Mitesh and Mr. Joginder, and to all our enthusiastic audience who stayed with us throughout the session. So, for more such insight-worthy sessions and the latest updates from the ITCXO's community, use our IT360 Connect app. Simply scan the QR code, or you can go to the Play Store or the iOS Store, and you can search for IT360 Connect app. So, thank you all. Thank you all for joining in today.